What made you go full Karen mode? When I walked into Sunset Manor to visit my grandma Clara, I knew something was off. My 87-year-old grandma was sitting in her wheelchair with greasy hair stuck to her head and cracked lips that looked like they hadn't seen water in days. She barely looked up when I said hi. I checked her medication chart hanging on the wall. There were gaps everywhere, like big, obvious gaps where her heart medication should have been marked off. My grandma has a pacemaker, and if she misses those pills, bad things happen. I walked up to the nurse at the front desk. Her name tag said Jennifer. "Hey, why didn't my grandma get her morning heart medication?" I asked nicely. Jennifer didn't even look up from her phone. "We're a bit short-staffed today. It'll get done when it gets done." That answer didn't sit right with me. I went back to check the visitor logbook they keep at the front desk. I flipped through the last few days and noticed the same pattern. Missed medications 3 days straight. Always the same excuse about being short-staffed. I tried talking to the head nurse, this lady named Barbara who acted like she owned the place. When I brought up the missed medications, she rolled her eyes at me. "Look, honey, you need to relax and stop causing trouble. We know what we're doing here." That's when something snapped in me. I don't usually make scenes, but hearing someone talk to me like I was some annoying kid when my grandma's health was on the line? Nope. "I want to see all of her medication logs, meal records, and vitals from this week," I said firmly. Barbara crossed her arms. "That's not how this works. You can't just demand to see private medical information." Fine. If they wanted to play games, I could play too. I decided to camp out in that nursing home for the entire day and watch everything they did. At lunchtime, they brought my grandma a tray with cold soup that had a film on top and a sandwich that looked like it had been sitting out since breakfast. The bread was hard as a rock. When my grandma asked for water because she was thirsty, I watched 3 different staff members walk past her without stopping. I marched straight to the main office and demanded to speak to whoever was in charge. The director, some guy named Mr. Phillips, came out looking annoyed. "What seems to be the problem?" he asked in that fake customer service voice. "The problem is my grandmother hasn't gotten her heart medication in 3 days. Her food is cold and nobody will give her water when she asks for it." He gave me this condescending smile. "Ma'am, I understand you're concerned, but we have protocols here. You can't just access patient records without proper authorization." That's when I lost it completely. I pulled out my phone and called 911 right there in his office. "Hi, I need to report elderly neglect at Sunset Manor Nursing Home. My grandmother hasn't received her prescribed heart medication in 3 days and I'm witnessing neglect in real time." Mr. Phillips' face went white. "Ma'am, there's no need to involve emergency services. Let's talk about this." But I was done talking. The paramedics showed up within 15 minutes. When they checked my grandma's blood pressure, the machine started beeping like crazy. Her numbers were through the roof because she'd missed her medication. I had my phone out the whole time, taking pictures and videos of everything. The dirty meal tray, the empty water pitcher, the medication chart with all those gaps. I documented every single thing. By evening, a state health inspector was walking through the building with a clipboard, and 3 nurses had been suspended pending investigation. Mr. Phillips tried one last time to convince me this was all a misunderstanding. "Mrs. Johnson, perhaps we got off on the wrong foot. Your grandmother has been a valued resident here for 2 years." "You're right," I said. "She has been here for 2 years, which means this neglect has probably been going on for way longer than 3 days." That night, I packed up all of my grandma's stuff and took her home to my apartment. She was confused about leaving, but when I explained what had been happening, she just nodded and said she'd been feeling worse lately, but thought it was just old age. A few weeks later, the state board launched a full investigation into Sunset Manor. Turns out, my grandma wasn't the only one being neglected. They found similar problems with at least 6 other residents. The facility ended up losing their license and had to shut down.